have your own McDonald's? No way!
Not bad.
Let's check out 10 bizarre rules McDonald's employees have to follow, and some of them are not as obvious as washing your hands and keeping your uniform clean. It's Ronald, not Ronnie.
Hey there.
Hi, Ronald.
Bad day, huh?
Ronald McDonald was introduced to the world all the way back in 1963 and has been the clown face of the chain pretty much ever since. He is an iconic character and probably one of the most recognizable mascots around the world. The clown with the red hair and yellow gloves is such a part of the culture in America that life-size statues of the mascot have sold at auction for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. Given Ronald's status as a symbol of the corporation and his recognizability among children, there's one rule regarding the mascot that makes total sense. Ronald McDonald is not allowed to be seen in nightclubs. We understand he might need to burn off some steam, but getting loaded and getting down on the dance floor is probably not appropriate.
Why?
However, there's another rule that we just don't understand, and this one states that McDonald's employees are never allowed to call Ronald McDonald Ronnie. So what's the big deal with Ronnie? Ronnie is a completely legitimate nickname for Ronald, but for some reason the powers that be feel very strongly that the clown shall never be referred to as Ronnie by any employee of the fast food chain. No bathroom when dining room closes.
Can my kid use the bathroom for a minute?
Customers only.
We all know that many restaurants and even retail outlets have rules regarding their bathrooms being for customers only. Well, when it comes to McDonald's, depending on the time of day, even if you buy something, you still might not be able to use the bathroom. You see, once a McDonald's restaurant shuts down the dining room, the bathroom is closed to customers as well, which means even though the drive-thru may still be going strong, you can't enter the restaurant to use the facilities.
Nice parenting. Hey, thanks. Are you my therapist? Take a walk.
Employees aren't allowed to let anyone in, no matter who it is. You could even be future Hall of Fame running back Adrian Peterson. In fact, Peterson did find himself in that exact situation in 2011 when he asked to use the restroom after going through the drive-thru. Initially, the employee followed the rules and said no, but when he told her who he was, she decided to make an exception. Well, it turns out, when it comes to this rule, McDonald's doesn't believe in exceptions. When the employee came into work the next day, she was fired. Now, in this case, the story became national news and McDonald's reversed their decision and she was rehired. But it does go to show how serious they are about this rule. No free food.
Anybody hungry? Because I sprung for lunch.
Hope you brought your McAppetites.
If a friend of yours gets a job at McDonald's with the thought that they'll now be able to hook up all their besties with free food, they should think again. We all know that restaurants don't like to give away food. They don't want their employees to hand out freebies to everyone that comes in asking for a little something extra, but there are sometimes exceptions made for certain people. We've all heard about police and first responders getting meals comped, or at least a free coffee at some places. Well, not at McDonald's. The home that Ronald built has a very strict no free food policy that employees must obey.
How about a sausage McMuffin with hash browns?
You got a deal.
Now, they did make an exception back for a couple months in 2020, giving away thank you meals to healthcare workers and first responders fighting the pandemic. But that is definitely the exception rather than the rule at Mickey D's. And just to show you how serious they are about this rule, allow us to take you to the Netherlands and a McDonald's employee who gave one of their colleagues an extra piece of cheese on their burger and didn't charge them for it. Yes, you guessed it, they were fired. Now they ended up taking the company to court and winning a little settlement, but the rule still stands. Strict grooming policy.
Come on. I need a beard. The beard's so dirty.
You know how some parents tell their kids not to get tattoos because it could hinder their chances of getting a job later in life? Well, little do they probably know it could hinder their chances right now if they plan on applying to work at McDonald's. Sorry, but that full neck piece, the tribal design on your head, or your Mike Tyson-inspired face tattoo might look cool, but it will keep you from serving Big Macs. McDonald's has a strict policy against extreme tattoos and piercings. And while extreme might not be specifically defined, head tats are probably in that category. Maybe even full sleeves or knuckle ink as well. As for piercings, employees are only allowed a maximum of 3 per ear, nothing on or around the mouth, and in the nose. Hoops and rings are a no-no.
But wait! There's more!
There are rules about hair color, natural colors only, and even sideburns. They can't extend past the earlobe. Sorry, Elvis impersonators. Looks like McDonald's can't be your side hustle between gigs. Employees must also keep any chains they wear tucked under their shirt, and the company also has a policy about fingernails. We don't know if they require you to clean under them, but we do know that they will regulate how long they can be. Same order all the time.
I want 30 sliders, 5 French fries, and 4 large cherry Cokes.
There was an episode of The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon complains that the sandwich he got was ruined because, although it had the right ingredients, they were in the wrong order. Well, it seems that the McD's higher-ups feel the same way. Part of what makes McDonald's so popular is the consistency of the food. The fact that whether you're at a McDonald's in New York, San Diego, or London, when you order a Big Mac, you know it's going to taste the same.
I'll have the Big Mac, please.
Great choice.
That's what customers expect and what McDonald's strives to deliver. And one way they do that is with the specific order of ingredients. When constructing any of the burgers on the menu, there are very strict rules about what goes in the burger and in what order. Obviously, the bun goes on the top and on the bottom, but what about everything in between those bun halves? It's all supposed to be done one way and one way only. Where the cheese goes in relation to the patties, which sauces you use, and what step in the process you are to add them, etc. Failing to follow these food construction demands could lead to angry customers and you no longer working at Mickey D's. Must refuse a McGangBang.
Nothing beats 2 cheeseburgers with secret sauce.
While most people order from the menu, savvy restaurant goers know that the menu is just a guide to be hacked. That's right, we're talking about the secret menu items. These items aren't on the menu, but are available if you know how to ask for them, and in this case, how not to ask for them. You see, one such popular McDonald's menu hack item is a McChicken placed inside of a McDouble. Yep, that means it's a burger with chicken and beef patties, and yes, it sounds amazing. However, the popular name for this concoction in the menu hack community is a McGangBang.
We having a gangbang?
As you might imagine, the family-friendly folks at McDonald's didn't come up with this name, didn't sanction it, and don't like it. In fact, the head honchos have gone so far as to make a rule wherein an employee must decline an order if the person uses the said XXX name. Now, the truth is that while some employees follow that rule, there are places where you can ask for a McGangBang and get your order fulfilled no problemo. But rather than take that chance, just ask for a McChicken in a McDouble. Time to toss it.
Chicken Big Mac has landed. But hurry, it's not around for long.
Everyone claims to have tricks in order to guarantee yourself the freshest food possible at McDonald's. One of the most popular ones on the World Wide Web is that in order to get the freshest fries, just order fries without salt. Since all the fries in the bin are pre-salted, your saltless fries will have to be made anew. But even without the tricks, you should be getting food that is pretty fresh given the rules McDonald's has laid down for their employees in regards to how long items can sit before getting thrown out. According to former employees, these are the time rules. Regular burgers must be tossed after sitting for 15 minutes, with premium burgers it's 30 minutes, and Angus beef or crispy chicken get 60 minutes before they are thrown out.
You're wrong.
And I'm a doctor, which means I'm always right.
The filet of fish and chicken nuggets get 20 minutes. While some of the rules on this list seem ridiculous and too strict, this one sure doesn't. In fact, 60 minutes seems maybe a little long for the Angus and crispy chicken burgers. We don't want to encourage wasting food, but we're sure they could provide those older burgers to people who need them and make slightly fresher ones for paying customers. Just a thought. It's called a drive-thru, not a walk-through.
Here's your burger.
I've got such small hands.
It's almost a teenage rite of passage, trying to walk through a McDonald's drive-thru. While you might not have tried it, you probably know someone who has. However, McDonald's has a rule against it. While there are always going to be employees willing to bend or ignore certain rules by the letter of the law, as McDonald's corporate has written it, employees are not allowed to serve pedestrians in the same place where they also serve folks in vehicles.
This is not what I ordered.
And when you think about it, that kinda makes sense. When you pull into a drive-thru, you aren't expecting to find a person standing there. And if you see them too late, things could go horribly wrong. While some people expect that eating McDonald's will put them in the hospital one day, they aren't thinking it will be because they got hit by a car in the drive-thru lane. So what is a hungry person with no car to do? Well, it turns out McDonald's wants you to get the burgers and fries your late-night hunger pains require. And so they have gone and installed walk-up windows at some of their 24-hour restaurants. So you can keep loving it and stay safe. No tips.
This is a hard job. So is working at McDonald's, but you don't feel the need to tip them, do you?
Employees can help you decide what to order and give you tips on the best sauce to pair with your McNuggets. But when it comes to tips of the financial variety, McDonald's workers have to, as Nancy Reagan used to say when it came to taking drugs, just say no. That's right, McDonald's has a no tipping policy that they strictly enforce. As some ex-employees have mentioned on social media and the internet, accepting a tip is equal to theft.
Forgot to leave a tip.
Yes, even if the customer specifically hands them the cash and says, "This is a tip for you," a McDonald's employee must either give it back or put it in the charity boxes found in the restaurant. And the same is true for any keep the change scenarios as well. Why are the higher-ups at McDonald's so against their employees accepting tips? We don't know. We just know that if they do, it could very well lead to their dismissal. But at least employees are allowed to grab a few French fries while they're working, right? Of course not. Workers can't eat it all while they're on the clock. In fact, there have been reports of employees being fired for eating one, yes, just one French fry. Forget about your phone.
Give me the phone and take the money.
These days, we're all on our phones all the time. Whether it's talking, texting, gaming, or scrolling, our phone is almost never more than a few feet away from us, unless it's charging. Our addiction to our phones is so prevalent that parents and couples will often make rules about no phones during dinner so that they can communicate with each other without a screen getting all the attention. Well, think of McDonald's as that annoying parent or partner who wants your complete focus. As it states in their employee handbook, once a worker clocks in for their shift, their phone is not to be used, seen, or heard in any way. While we assume you could keep it in your pocket, if you don't trust to leave it in the employee lockers, you are going to need to muster up all the willpower you have to not take it out of that pocket for a quick look when you get a vibrating notification.
Lots? We're gonna need those phones.
Now, with smartwatches these days, you can get notifications and texts right on your wrist. And while this might be a sneaky workaround to the rule, it's probably only a matter of time before they come up with a rule about those as well. No phone rules here. Just tap on another great video, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell.